Today's video is about Pyth Network. Pyth Network is a lightning-fast, quickly growing oracle. And in this video, I'll talk about what Pyth is and what distinguishes it from other oracles. We'll go through the tokenomics of Pyth's Pyth token, and then we'll talk about some risks and opportunities associated with Pyth Network. Welcome back to Dynamo DeFi. My name is Patrick. As a reminder, this video isn't financial advice. On this channel, I try to cover trending cryptos from an objective, neutral point of view, but I'm not making any predictions about price or endorsing these as investments. Now, let's get into the video. First, let's talk about what Pyth Network is and what sets it apart from its competitors. It's a blockchain oracle for market data, and their tagline is smarter data for smarter contracts. And what a blockchain oracle is basically, in Pyth's case, it's a bunch of price feeds. So they're providing market data on prices of crypto, as well as Forex, commodities, equities, all sorts of different assets. And that is mission critical for a lot of applications, especially in DeFi. You can imagine, for example, a lending market. If they're tracking the liquidation price for a position they have, then they need to know the price, and they need to have a reliable estimate of the price that cannot be easily manipulated. And they also need it real time. And so that's really where Pyth stands out, is they have real-time market data. It's extremely fast. It updates every 300 milliseconds, and they source it from many reputable sources. In fact, over 95 of them, including TradFi firms like Jane Street, as well as crypto native firms like Binance, OKX, and Bybit. So they're sourcing data from all those different places. They have over 400 data feeds. They supply data to over 250 applications. So remember when I said that they were growing, they've been onboarding a lot of applications recently, and originally they were solely on Solana. However, they're now on over 45 different blockchains. And just to give you a perspective of how much data they're providing 80 million updates per day. And yes, those help to secure operations for smart contracts that are relying on Pyth Network data. And here's a few more of the sources of their data. You can see that it's a mixture of crypto native firms as well as TradFi firms. To look at a full picture of their ecosystem, they have tons and tons of publishers as well as products that are relying on them. I mean, these icons, there's so many of them, they're too small to actually look at here, but you can see all these different blockchains, all these different applications, and then all of these different data providers. And to look at some of the top applications that use Pyth over here on DeFi Llama, then of course you have the major Solana applications, but you also have a DeFi OG project, Synthetics. That's a big one. You have some newer perp-dex projects like Avo. And then you've got a lot of other projects here. You can see they've got some things in the Cosmos ecosystem like Mars, Level Finance, Helix on Injective, and the list goes on. You can see that there are a particularly large number of derivatives products on here, and that is in part because those sorts of applications require the kind of very fast real-time updates that Pyth is optimized to provide. And to hop over to the database of price feeds on Pyth's website, we can see that they have 449 price feeds at the moment, and these are covering a huge range of assets. They've got pretty much every major crypto asset. You can see some of them here, like AKT and ADA, but they also have some non-crypto assets. For example, they have Apple stock here, that's an equity, and that could be really important. For example, if you wanted to create a synthetic version of Apple stock that was tradable on chain, you would need to have some sort of reliable feed for what the price of that stock was off chain. The reason that Pyth Network is so fast is that it runs on something known as PythNet, which is an application blockchain network built on the Solana codebase. So remember, Pyth is closely linked to the Solana ecosystem, and that basically functions as its own separate blockchain for aggregating first-party data at sub-second speeds. Remember that it's only a few hundred milliseconds between each Pyth Network update. And then they use the Wormhole cross-chain messaging system to actually scale to multiple blockchains from there. But they are collecting all this data and processing it on their own separate PythNet, and that's what allows them to be so fast. Next, let's talk about Pyth's Tokenomics, because they recently launched their own PYTH token. As of the time of making this video, the price is just under 40 cents with a market cap of $600 million and a fully diluted valuation of $4 billion. So that is a fairly high fully diluted valuation compared to the market cap. There's only 1.5 billion Pyth in circulation compared to 10 billion that are in the total supply. And if we look at the distribution of that as well as the unlock schedule, we can see that 52% is for ecosystem growth, 22% is for publisher rewards. Those are people who are publishing data. 10% is for protocol development. 10% is for private sales. And then 5% is for the community and launch. And if we look at what's in circulation right now, for example, then you have the community and launch, of course. That's the airdrop. And then you've got some for protocol development, publisher rewards, and ecosystem growth. And if we look at upcoming unlocks, then we can see that there is a major unlock coming in May of this year. Quite substantial. The number of Pyth in circulation is expected to double. And that is a pretty steep cliff. Not going to lie, that is a pretty steep cliff. And if you're keeping track at home, that is in 111 days. By the way, this website is token.unlocks.app. Really useful website for finding token unlock schedules as well as the distribution of tokens. Huge fan. But what exactly is the token used for, right? Is there any reason to hold this? Well, if we go over to their tokenomics paper over here, then we can see that there is some utility. However, it's mostly in the form of governance. And governance is one of the forms of utility that tends to accrue less value to the token. However, it hasn't stopped certain other tokens such as Uniswap's Uni token from doing well in the past. If we look at what governance abilities Pyth has, then they can determine the size of update fees, determine the reward distribution mechanism for data providers. They can approve other software updates to on-chain programs across blockchains. They can determine how new feeds are listed on Pyth and their reference data. And they can determine how data providers will be permissioned to provide data for price feeds. So basically, they're controlling everything there is to do with the price feeds, from the fees to the rewards to whether it can be listed or not. So that's a lot of power within the Pyth network itself, and considering how important it is, that's definitely something. However, what it doesn't have is the ability right now to actually collect some of those fees. Maybe that'll change in the future. I would say one positive thing is that there is money being exchanged here, and when there's money being exchanged, that's a good sign for future value accrual for the network. Additionally, there's the fact that since Pyth is going to be securing this network and there's a lot of value that's relying on it, there is some premium that is accrued to the fact that it's securing a network which is securing value, since obviously there would be incentive for some people to both secure that data as well as to hack or exploit that data. As far as staking it, I went through how exactly to stake it in another video that I'll link below. However, there's also some speculation that because there's so many applications using Pyth and some of them don't have tokens, there could, in theory, be future airdrops for Pyth stakers. However, that is speculation right now, so be mindful of that at your own risk. And oftentimes you don't need to hold and stake that many tokens to actually qualify for airdrops when protocols do that. All right, to round it off, let's talk about the risks and opportunities of Pyth Network right now. Let's start with the opportunities. Well, I would say the big opportunity is that Pyth Network is securing a huge number of applications, and many of those applications are on fast-growing chains. For example, there's applications on Injective that rely on Pyth. There's a lot of applications on Solana that rely on Pyth. And as those networks grow, the amount that's secured by Pyth will grow with it. Furthermore, as more applications launch in those various networks, the number of applications that use Pyth will likely grow as well. Additionally, I would say that an opportunity is that they've got some major partners, both on the protocol side as well on the data publisher side, and that tends to bode well for the longevity and success of a project. As far as the risks, I would say the biggest risk that stands out to me right now is the fact that they have this huge unlock coming in just over 3 months. And if anything, this would make me hesitant personally to put a large sum of money into this before this unlock. Granted, after the unlock, maybe if price went down before then, it could turn into a buy the news event. But 3 months out, I would be skeptical about buying and locking tokens going into this. Furthermore, another risk is that still today, Chainlink is the dominant oracle. If we look on DeFi Llama, we can see that of protocols that use oracles, Chainlink has a plurality of the value secured, and that is a large first mover advantage for Pyth to overcome. So they will have to overcome the fact that Chainlink is currently significantly larger. Will they be able to do it? It's not impossible. However, Chainlink certainly has the edge right now. If you want to learn more about trending cryptos, on-chain data, as well as the latest tools in the space, then I have a free newsletter that I send out every Monday, and it includes my analysis on these sorts of things. Subscribe at dynamodefi.substack.com or at the link in the description. For more videos like this one, be sure to like and subscribe. And until next time, this is Dynamo DeFi.